Hello, my name is Connor Lindsay, and this is my presentation on the Cleveland Wastewater Treatment Plant for 3201 ENG Water and Wastewater Treatment Fundamentals. The Cleveland Sewage Treatment Plant was built and operated by Redlands City Council to treat the sewage created in the Redlands City Council area. The waste is pumped in from pumping stations throughout Redlands District to the Cleveland Sewage Treatment Plant. It is then pumped through the pipes into the primary treatment area. The sewage is initially screened through a screw filter that removes inorganic and large objects. This is known as RAG, removal of aquatic growth, and can include plastics and sanitary items that once removed from the sewage are transported to specialized landfill. The sewage next moves through a grit filter that removes sand and rocks that could damage machinery and cause blockages further on in the system. These items are also trucked off to landfill. This area is shown on the screen now. The next stage is secondary treatment, removal of nutrients, and introduction of coagulants and flocculants. The sewage makes its way into the aeration tanks, as shown here, which removes contaminants such as nitrogen and phosphorus through anaerobic and anoxic processes. These processes are caused by special bacteria that oxidize ammonium and ammonia into nitrate, which is then also oxidized into nitrate NO3. This process occurs under aerobic conditions, which means with the presence of free oxygen. This is easily visible in the photos of the aeration tanks, as the water undergoes a great deal of turbulence to help dissolve free oxygen into the mixed liquor of suspended solids and liquids. This is shown in the far left of the photo on screen, and the middle area is highly turbulent and disturbed to help dissolve the oxygen. The mixed liquor is moved through the tank until it reaches areas of anaerobic state. This environment has limited free oxygen in it and thus promotes denitrification, which is the process by which bacteria turn the nitrate into elemental nitrogen. This is shown in the photos as the area with little surface disturbance. If either process is not operating as expected, the water being released into the environment will have high nitrogen levels, which will increase the likelihood of an algal bloom in affected waterways. The path of the mixed liquor through the tanks is shown here, with the anaerobic zone and aerobic zones clearly marked. This is a video taken from the plant showing the turbulent and non-turbulent areas of the tanks. During the process of nitrification and denitrification, coagulants and flocculants are added to the water to have the suspended solids clump together, which is the coagulant, and sink in the liquor, which is done by the flocculants. Once the activated sludge is passed through the aerobic tanks and completed denitrification and nitrification processes, it is then gravity fed into the secondary settling tanks. These are big tanks with smaller surface rings in the middle of the tank. The activated sludge is added to the tank inside the smaller surface ring, which is designed to catch floating surface scum and keep it from spreading throughout the tank. The sludge moves throughout the tank with the flocculated solids sinking to the bottom of the tank. This is collected through pipes at the bottom of the tank and sent to the dewatering/biosolids removal station. This involves the solids being pressed between two tight belts that allow the squeezed water to escape while keeping the solids. The photos here show the dewatering station at Cleveland. This video is of the mixed activated sludge being added to the belts for pressing. After the water is pressed out of the mixed liquor, the belt then transports it onto a conveyor belt, which leads outside into a large container. This container is trucked. This container of biosolids is then trucked out to be used as fertilizer for non-feed plants. It's added to non-feed plants due to the high risk of contamination of food, which would lead to which is massive health risk. The water that is removed from in the dewatering station is then pumped back up into the start of the aerobic tanks to complete the process again. The surface water on the tank is decanted over the edge as all of the suspended solids have sunk to the bottom or are suspended in the middle of the tank. This water is very clean, or very clear and has no suspended solids in it. This video shows the water being decanted over the edge. This water is then gravity fed to the chlorine contact tanks. This is where the chlorine is added to disinfect the filtrate water. The filtrate water will sit in these tanks for a while to let the chlorine do its work and kill all of the bacteria and protozoa in the water. While we were at the treatment plant, they were undergoing an experiment by adding other chemicals once the water is being released to dechlorinate the water before it is released back into the freshwater stream nearby, as releasing the chlorinated water into the stream would greatly increase the chlorine content of the water and thus damage the ecosystem. The chemical being added at the end almost wholly removes the chlorine in the water, thus making it very ecologically safe. The water from the chlorine contact tank is then released into a nearby stream which is linked to the Brisbane River and thus Moreton Bay. Thank you very much for listening.